Okay, so in this video, we're going to start looking through some, well, almost live trading. I'm going to actually go through some new projects with you, show you exactly the type of analysis I do so you can set up profitable trades when it comes to trading meme coins. And what I prefer to do, especially if you're a beginner, is stick to Solana. I mostly trade on Solana meme coins anyway. Any of them are fine. Solana's good because generally the contracts are pretty good. It's easy to quickly check them that they're legit. Also, the fees are very, very low. Avalanche fees are on the low side as well, but Ethereum are expensive, but generally Solana ones are very, very low, and it's very quick to do trades, and they have a lot of volume, a lot of trading volume. So if we click on new pairs here, I'm on Dex Screener, so go to the left, click on new pairs, you scroll down, you'll see a lot of them /Sol, because Sol is a very, very popular chain for meme coins. A lot of traffic here right now. And what I want to do then is click on the age button, and then it sorts by the most recent collection that's just launched. And here, what I want to do is have a look through them. And for now, like I said, I'm only looking at the Solana ones. But if you actually have a look, the last 20 odd are all Solana collections anyway. That's where everything is at the moment. That's where I think you should concentrate. Now, when I'm scanning over here, I can obviously see how old they are here very quickly. So you can see 15 minutes, 20 minutes, etc. I'm very interested in the newer collections because that's where, as I've discussed in other videos, you get a lot of the ROI, return on your investment. And you'll learn more on that as you go through this training program. Also, I'm looking at the liquidity here. This gives me an idea, and the FDV as well, but more the liquidity. That's the full volume, more liquidity. Gives me an idea of how much cash is tied up in the project right now. So kind of how has the project grown? So I know just by looking at this, that this one that's 1.5, this one's a dead project. Let's open that in a new tab and we'll check it in a minute. And I know straight away that this one that's ICE, because it's got 22,000, is building up a little bit. This might be going somewhere potentially. And looking further down, this Arab, this one's brand new, so we don't know about this one. So we'll have a look at this one as well. And we'll have a look at ICE as well. Let's have a look at these for now. So CUMKE, CUMK, however you want to call it. This is one that's just launched, and I already told you the liquidity looks really low. So I know it's not doing well even without looking at the chart. And the chart will confirm. It will confirm the pump at the beginning. And here, what I want to do is change the chart into market cap always. The numbers, the 0.00 mean nothing. The market cap is what gives us an idea of how good the project is, how much profit we'll make, etc. Because if I buy here and it's 12,000 in market cap and it goes to 24,000 in market cap, I know if I put 5 SOL in, I probably would have come out with 10 SOL. Very nice, even numbers. So that's the first thing I want to do. So I want to set it up with market cap. And then, as I say, I've opened them in new tabs and now I can start analyzing them one by one. And the main number I'm looking at is the liquidity and when they launched. And again, the reason the early ones I want to get involved with, yes, they are maybe a little bit risky. You really don't know how it's going to pan out. But the reason is because we can make more ROI. Now, this is not a good project at all. But even this one, technically speaking, if you got in immediately a minute or two in at 3,000 market cap and you sold at 12,000 very, very quickly, you'd probably only have to be able to buy a little bit because there's not much liquidity, but you could have turned 2 SOL into 8 SOL. That's a good start. That's plenty of cash on a project that wouldn't have gone anywhere anyway. Now, obviously, a lot of you, I'm not, you don't have the experience when it comes to sniping, whether it be with meme coins, altcoins, NFTs, or anything like that. I have more experience in the area. But even then, we can use bots that will help us do all of these transactions, and I'll show you how to do that in another video. So that's what I'm looking at first. New pairs, sorted by most recent, open the most recent collections, and see if we've got any setups. Because these initial moves are what I call the first waves. So these initial ones are first wave moves. Then later, after like kind of 24 hours or so, you might get a second wave move in less percentage of projects. And then much later after that, you get a third wave move in the very long-term ones. I discussed this in more detail in a separate video, but basically that's what we're looking at. Most of our trades will be these first waves. That's where we regularly can make cash, literally hundreds of dollars every single day consistently. And once you get more and more experience, this is going to get easier and easier because you do the same thing you see repeat again and again every single day. Like I said, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. You're going to have to move fast with this. And it's going to be ridiculous at times because a lot of these names, like I don't even want to pronounce on these videos. Like this is the name in the top right of this particular collection. So they have very, very silly names, but that, again, it doesn't matter. These are meme coins. As long as there's potential for the price to go up and people to be more interested and other people to ape in, it means we can potentially make money. As long as we're liquid, we get in the market and we get out quickly. In the first wave, you don't want to be holding a position long, regardless of if it's working out. You might be in a lot of profit, you might be break even, you might take a small loss. Doesn't matter. Get in, get out, and then move on to the next trade. And you can do that repeatedly a few times every single day. Thanks for listening. In this video, I want to talk about the lifespan of a project. Now, you would have seen in my recent videos, we talked in detail about lots of different strategies, especially for wave one, the initial part of a launch. But this is a really important video, and you need to absolutely understand this lifespan of a meme coin. And I'm talking, as I do in all my videos, we're concerned with probabilities here with these videos. What's the probability of a collection doing X and Y? And I've got this open here. These are the shortest living animals in the world. And there's probably more types of flies and insects. But there are a lot of types of flies and insects that literally live for hours. For hours, minutes to hours, that's all. That's what meme coins are like. Probability-wise, the vast majority of them last the absolute day max. Now, they don't go anywhere after a day. They're just dead. Nobody's buying it or selling it. There's no liquidity in there. Nothing's going to happen. There's no hype. Don't expect price to do anything. Now, rarely some of these dead projects can suddenly be resurrected by community takeovers and stuff like that. I'll discuss all of that in a separate video. We're not going to talk about that right now. That's a different kind of setup anyway, but that's not the majority. Remember, that's the minority. So I'm here on live new pairs again, and I'm going to click on age. And we're going to look at some of the ones that have already aged 18 hours, which, like I said, in the grand scheme of life is not a lot at all. But for meme coins, is a hell of a long time. And we're going to look through some of these soul ones again and just open this one spinning. Let's see, we've got Stake here. What else? Chunky. Hypno something. Let's open that one. And let's open one that looks like it might have done a little bit better. So, again, I'm just looking at the liquidity it has to give me a quick idea of what's going on. How many people have kind of bought and sold and are still kind of interested. So let's have a look a little bit further. See if there's anything decent. Not much, to be honest with you. Yeah. So, just click on that one as well. All right. So quick scan of the chart. So we always would just want to jump on a quick, well, this is more hours. So maybe rather than a 1 minute, let's jump on a 5 minute to give us a better idea. Now, most of them, I mean, this actually, the chart I'm seeing here, this is not typical, where it's kind of almost like sideways, doing nothing, but doing a little bit. This almost is like a project that had some marketing and then kept trying to push with marketing and kind of hold on to the price. It's just so long after now that you get no organic boost. The organic boost is you get a lot of free marketing. When you launch a meme coin, for example, a Solana one, you get it on deck screen and stuff, the original volume, all collections get, because you get snipers, you get bots, you get everybody just hyping in, jumping into the collection, a lot of hype, and everybody trying to make a quick buck. So you're always going to get that organic volume. But at this point here, you really need to have a really good meme or good marketing to really push this forward. And it's struggling. So I wouldn't be interested in this. But if it starts attacking and then it starts getting more volume, more importantly, yeah, I might be interested. But again, that's not the topic of this video. This is not typical. But it still illustrates a point that most meme coins will go nowhere. This one's going nowhere, but it's not kind of collapsed either, which is fair enough. This is more typical. This is literally every meme coin, bar very, very few. Absolutely typical. Blow off top, bit of a pump at the beginning, and let's turn it to market cap so we can see exactly where it reached, because that is really good learning for us. Notice it reached all the way to 150. Again, remember, round numbers, 150, very round number. 100, it probably had a bit of resistance there. And that was it. And it launched, well, my time here would have been about 540. So it hit the peak in no time, a couple of hours, and that's it. It was done. So it probably had some decent interest and hype, and you can see it's got all of its socials. Let's just quickly click on one or two here, just to give you a feeling of how much you need. Quickie-ish website, nothing special, quickie-ish. It looks like a cat meme again, cat spinner. got a few followers in, moving, blah, blah, blah. Few contests here, lots of engagement here. So they did a little bit of shilling before they launched. Some meme contests. They tried. They did a little bit here and there. 18 posts, not bad. So yeah, this is like a medium meme coin, to be honest with you. And this is about as good as it's going to get. But remember, if you bought here in the first few minutes where the market cap was 10,000, 12,000 and stuff, and you sold anywhere 80, 90, 100,000, anywhere around here, you are making at least a 5x, if not 10x. Very, very nice move. I probably would have sold on the first move a lot of the position at 85,000 and then called it a day, or waited for my level, which is the 100 level, which I like to see in an initial pump. And the volume you see was rising. It was good. Everything was good. And then you can usually tell when a collection is dying off because, well, I mean, the chart kind of tells you everything you need to know. Price is just moving down a straight line. It's not really pushing back up to attack those highs again. We're not getting that kind of setup. It's just blow off top. And then once it's dropped from 150 market cap to 24, like it's literally very close to zero chance this is ever going to recover and do anything. It's done pretty much. Very rarely you get ones that from 20 just build up again. But no, it's unlikely. Because look, the organic volume was all at the beginning. It had a bit of hype volume on top of the organic volume that pushed it up to 150. No volume anymore. Dead. And then here, as I've said before, you can mess about here, and I've done that before, and try and make a quick 2x flip on a retracement and see if it bottoms. But again, it's risky. But then after that, you don't want to be involved, because this is just slowly going towards zero or towards the minimum liquidity, which is probably about 2,000 or 3,000, and that's where it's gone. This is all meme coins. And remember, this is not even a day. This is less than a day. This is literally 16 to 18 hours. But not even 16 to 18 hours. To get to the top, it was literally 3 hours, and then it died 2 hours later. So that's 5 hour lifespan. And I want this to be cemented in your minds. 5 hour lifespan. That's it. Meme coin done. Nearly all meme coins. But that's what gives them so much potential. You can literally, even if say you work a 9 to 5, you come back from work, jump on a computer, do some trading, make some money, move on. Maybe you lose some from time to time, move on. But generally, if you're making money, blowing up your account, because remember, 10x move, you put 2 or 4 SOL in there and you're on 40 SOL. It's very, very hard to not keep growing that account slowly because one of those pays for all of these. The problem is, I know a lot of people, because I follow wallets and stuff as well, who've done these moves and they've made good money. It's just they don't have any clue how to do meme coin trading. So this was luck. And I see these type of people complaining in the Telegram groups, asking the dev to do something because they're just like, why didn't this one go up 10x? But they don't know how to trade. And the problem is they slowly lose their money anyway because they get caught up in too many that sell off. 1, 2, another coin that sold off, another coin that sold off, and they lose it all. But you won't do that. You will know when to sell and when to book profits. And you will know because most of them die after 5 hours. You won't be involved after that point anyway. After you've seen the pump, yeah, it may pump more, may not, we don't know. You book your profit, you move on. And then because you never have the big losses, because these losses are big. And the person who made that 10 SOL just by luck, this is how they lose their money. Because on another collection, they'll buy the tops and they'll hold and they'll lose 80, 90%. And that 40 SOL would have gone all the way down to, 7 or 8 SOL. Massive, massive loss. That's what will not happen to you. You will cut your losses quickly. If a position's moving against you and it's not looking good, take the 10, 20% hit and move on. It's okay. Because we're here for the 2x's, 5x's, 10x's. Get a few of those in your account and then you're sorted. That's why you're here on the training. That's why this pays for itself. You don't need a lot of these moves to pay off that investment. Simple as that. Okay, so let's have a look at a couple of the other ones that had launched. Another one, pump and quickly dump. Still got a bit of liquidity left. Another classic one, but this one was interesting because it was a sharper pump and then dump. So this was literally 950. Yeah, this is one of those 20-minute ones. So not even 20 minutes, 30 minutes. 30 minutes it was at a high, and the market cap there was very high, 250. This is interesting. Now, again, this is just my theory. I haven't done any research on this project at all. This is my guess. Sometimes what the projects do, if they're looking to sell quickly themselves, is they will help pump up the collection. So they could do that in a number of ways. They could get this onto trending tabs in various places on Telegram. They could do some extra marketing. They could even buy the token themselves to help pump the price a bit. Loads of things they can do. And then what they do very, very quickly in a short period of time is they can sell. Now, I'm not saying that happened here. This could be normal selling. It's just weird that a crappy collection, which is now obviously doing nothing, within an hour was doing literally nothing, went to such a high market cap from a beginning liquidity of barely $1,000. Very high, because bots would usually take you to 20, 30,000 market cap. That's it. The rest of it needs to be your own marketing and push. So let's have a quick look at the website, see if they at least made a decent website. Again, for research purposes, let's have a look. Yeah, Drake. Oh, it's another Trump one. So another political one. They joined it with Drake. A little bit funny, nothing special. At least they spent a few quid, a few bob on the website. Yeah, this nothing crazy. Drake and Trump collaboration. It's weird. It's not even a good meme. It's just a little bit weird, to be honest with you. But anyway, that's it. And the kind of coolish name. They call it Stake and stuff like that. But that's what I think happened here. And there was just a raft of selling. And you can see the raft of selling. If you click on over 500, you can see literally... well, I mean, let's just scroll down now that we're here, because there's not that many transactions. Look at what happened when everything started. Look at these big buys. Weird, so early in a collection to have massive buys. 500 there, 500 there, 1,000 there, 800 there. Massive buys. Price quickly pumps up. And then suddenly a raft of selling here. Still some big buys, maybe trying to hold up the price. And then, well, I mean, this is buying and selling. Sometimes what can happen is the same wallet. So you can see this one, 21,000 bought, 21,000 sold. What they do is minute by minute, they buy and they sell and they buy and they sell. And it just gives the appearance of trading volume on a particular collection. So keep an eye out for that as well when you're looking at any new collections, because that's almost manipulating the price. But then after that, what happened was they said that was it. And they pulled it. So about here... Yeah, about here. So around this sell here, what they did, look, it was just a raft of selling. Big sells. They just quickly sold out and moved on. Sold out all of these positions and they just moved on. And that was the end of the collection. So, like I said, a few different reasons as could have been the issue here and stuff like that. But anyway, this is a classic pattern. The classic blow off and crash afterwards. Where that top happens and how high that top goes. That's what you will research. And you will get a better and better instinct and idea as you watch more and more collections. It's never going to be perfect, but it'll get better and better. And remember, even in these ones, like I'm showing you here, that it's not really a good collection as it turns out, you could still have made money going up. That's the thing. Because if you got in initially here, even 50,000 market cap or something, you saw the price consolidating, it did get to 200 and it stayed there for a good 15-20 minutes over 200. So you had plenty of time to get out of the position as well, take your 4x and move. No position entry and exit is going to be perfect. You had slippage as well, of course, but you get enough of these moves and you can definitely move up with your account. Next one. Look at a couple more quickly just to cement it further. Yeah, this is an interesting one. This is not a typical chart. Again, this is one, again, they really tried, pushed with marketing, would be my guess. But this choppy price is not the typical, but still we had the blow off top. And then we had the kind of crash back down. So let's click on market cap to see where this actually went to. Nothing that major. Got to 150 against psychological levels. Crash back down. Around here, look how much resistance. Let me just mark it off so I can cement this point as well. This is exactly 100. And this is exactly 150. So notice the tops, the wicks are 150, lower resistance at 100. So there's a good chance. Well, we had a big pullbacks as well. There's a good chance we were going to break through. We did break through. Wasn't much return in that anyway. So this one wasn't great because it already started at a kind of high market cap. Sometimes the ones that start at high market cap, sometimes they have less potential for ROI because that's what we care about. They're better projects. But the reason they start at high market cap is they're already a lot of following and hype and interest and stuff like that in these projects. So they start high, which again, if they're already high, sometimes they crash. Sometimes they did giveaways and airdrops. So people start selling the tokens. Not always the best ones to invest in, funnily enough, because it's all about ROI. That's all we care about here. And then it just died off. Another one here. This one much more recent. Again, classic one here. So pump up, sell off. Again, within 20 minutes, it was at a top, market top. That's why you have to be watching on the screen as you're trading these ones. This one was called Hypno Toad or something like that. It had the socials, so they paid for that. 12.55 one, yeah, literally 20 minutes. The 20-minute tops, I've seen, is very, very common. Still make a bit of return. You have to be very, very careful though, because quickly they can sell off, and look how quick they sell all the way back down to 5,000 market cap. 90,000, 5,000 in literally an hour, if not less. That's it. So this is most collections. Cement that in your mind. Most of them are like this. Most of them only have a lifespan of a few hours. We don't care. We'll still look for them, make the money. And then the ones that look like they have more legs, the good thing about that is if you've already got some profits, book some profits, it will keep moving up and steadily moving up step by step. Let it run, because that's the one that will really blow up your account and actually cover any of the losses you've made in the last few weeks and months of meme coin trading. Anyway, thanks for listening. Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to show you an example of exactly how I traded a Solana meme coin and made some quick profits. And it's quite simple and straightforward once you get the hang of it. But remember, when you're new, you just start slowly. Start with really small positions and take it from there, see how it goes. We already discussed Deck Screener. It's my favorite tool. And this is where we are right now. Now, one thing I like to see, I found this is called brick/sol. And I found this on new pairs. So just remember, you go into new pairs, scroll by age, most recent, and any of these recent ones you can open into a new tab and have a look. And if you have a look further down here, you'll see the one that I was just involved in. I'm just trying to find it now actually. But basically it was brick. You see, it only launched an hour or so ago. Already got in, got out, made profits and moved on. And what I like to do with these charts is change at the top to market cap rather than price. Market cap is much more important. These zeros, 0.0000, you can't make heads or tails of these. It gives you no idea what's going on. The market cap is the key. That's the number you want to look at. So you click on market cap. And then what you want to do here, after you click on that, let me just zoom out a little bit. And now what you want to do is concentrate on the chart. And when I had this chart live, when I was trading it here, I actually have it not even on a 1 minute chart. I have it on a 1 second. So I can really see live what's going on. And notice I've drawn lines here. So what are those? So one of the key secrets, you won't find this stuff, by the way, anywhere online. This is stuff I've worked out myself, and I don't really hear people talking about it, even though there's a lot of money to be made with meme coins. Notice that I've drawn off 50,000 in market cap, 100, 150, etc. This is because round numbers are targets, they're resistance levels. It was the same when I used to trade NFTs regularly. It was the same thing. And these are really important because when you're looking for support or you're looking to take profits, you should be looking at these numbers. It's absolutely no surprise we spiked at about 400,000 in market cap and then crashed down. And at the moment, you can see in the top right, we're at 91 market cap. So you can always keep an eye on that figure. That figure lags a little bit. So the chart is actually faster than that figure updating. That's just something you need to be aware of. So once you've marked them off and you've had a look at the volume, what are the things I'm looking for in the collection? So once I've opened it and I've had a look at the chart, in the top right, you need to see these socials. I noticed that the ones that have these socials, they tend to perform a lot better. So you can quickly check those. Have a look at the liquidity. Is it locked? If it has this green circle around it, what that means is the developers of this project, the creators, they put some liquidity forward to the Radium pool. And don't worry if this is going over your head. As you go through the videos, I'll explain it more and more anyway. So don't worry if you don't understand this. I didn't get it at first. But basically, they sent some Solana with some of these tokens into a pool. And once they've locked it, it means they can't get those back. If they hadn't locked it, what that means is anytime they want to, they can just clear all of the liquidity. And it would be basically a big rug pull. So that's something you have to be careful about. But if it's locked here, which it clearly is, then you're good to go. And as I've mentioned on other videos, you can check any of these collections to see if there's any other signs of rugs. A lot of the Solana ones with the socials, with the locked liquidity, tend to not be. They're not really scams. They're just sometimes projects that aren't really marketed that well. They're just kind of jumping on the hype. And Solana meme coins are very popular right now. So a lot of them are just taking off without anything. Notice this one, when I click on website here, website is pretty rubbish. It just says launching soon. And this is kind of a couple of links and then that's the entire website. So not the best. But even this, you kind of get accustomed to with Solana. And on another video, I'm going to go through Telegram, but very quickly, we'll have a look at the Twitter. So you can see here, very simple Twitter. They've just said, look, we're launching today. It's a stealth launch. Here's the Telegram link. And they've got a couple of posts. Nobody really cares. And notice, without any engagement at all, they got to 400,000 in market cap. Because that's not the important thing here. They mentioned the launch and the Telegram. It's the very active Telegrams. It's the fact that it's trending at the moment. It's the fact that the contracts are otherwise quite clean. And the fact that they have the socials. All of these things really help. But anyway, that's the due diligence that you need to do. But when you're looking at it and you're trading live like I was, so let's go into a 1 second. Because it literally only launched an hour ago and I'm showing you. We can do that. So here, what I noticed was the price pumped up, got to 100,000 and then pulled back. Then I was interested because I saw the price attacking 100 again. So I got in. This is not going to be perfect. And remember, there's slippage in trades and everything like that you need to take into account. But I got in around this level. I saw it pump up. And then I usually like to take profits early, especially half of the position. Or I like to trail in. I like to buy a few. And then as soon as I saw it get to 200,000 market cap around here, I was already taking profits. Nobody knows like how far these coins are going to go up, but I do know round numbers. And once I got through 200, then you know, you really don't know how far it's going to push. And at 300, where I was already out of my position, but if I was still in, I would have sold some here for sure. And then it started pulling back quickly. Now, this looks like you had time to get out, but actually, in terms of minutes, this is literally, 8 minutes from here to here. 8 minutes. So you actually have to be watching this live. That's what makes them very fun. It was like NFTs and NFT reveals. It's a lot of fun to trade these live and make some money. And then you pull out because you've made your profit and it's pulling back under key support levels. Then you wait to see, is it going to have a second wave, another push up? So you see it started pushing from 100,000 again. It got all the way to 200, psychological level, and then it quickly pulled back. It didn't get over that psychological level and build support and start pushing. If it did, maybe I'd be interested again. But to be honest, when you're basically buying at 100, you have to think about it like this. So let's say you buy at 100 and you put in $100. Let's do normal figures. And Solana's are around $100 right now, so 1 SOL. So we buy it for 1 SOL, $100, and it goes up to 300 million market cap, which is 3 SOL. And so we basically made 2 SOL. Brilliant. That's, tripling your money. That's really good. Now let's say the chart messes about and then it settles on about 200. And then we're like, it might go to 300 again. Yeah, it might do, it might not. But notice that from 2 SOL to 3, you're not making much. You're only making 50%. But you're risking this easily going back down to 1. So you're risking 1 to make 1. It's not a good risk reward. Whereas when you were at 100, it might have stayed there and dropped back down to like 80 or something. But your reward is 2 whole SOL and you're only risking 0.2. From a risk reward, it makes a lot more sense. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of drawings all over the place here, but I hope that kind of makes sense. And a lot of the coins, as I'll mention in a lot of the videos, they tend to have this first wave pump and they never reclaim it again. For so many reasons. It could be the marketing was just not that good anyway, and it doesn't really have any kind of roadmap or utility or plan after the first pump. Or the devs, the creators, they've sold a lot of their tokens, so they're not that much interested anyway. And then everybody in Telegram's just talking about community takeover, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't go anywhere. It really doesn't go anywhere. So you get this first wave and back down. So if we now zoom out to a 5-minute chart, you'll see that in that short amount of time, that's what we've had. We've had that first wave. And now what happens with most projects is they might have little mini pumps, but they just slowly kind of trend towards zero over a period of time. The better projects, they'll have a second attack within the first 6 to 24 hours. 6 to 24 hours. So this has only been running for an hour. And you need to see it. Time is important here. You can't have these projects do nothing for days and then suddenly take off. It doesn't work that way because the volume will die down. Interest, attention will die down because all of these meme coin degens, well, including me, will just go on to another coin and then another coin and another coin. That's just how it works. So basically, you have to get in very early or see if there's another pump. And if there isn't, walk away. Walk. Go to the next one. Go on back on new pairs and see what's trending at the moment. Click on new pairs. Go sort it by age. Click on the new ones, open them, check if there's any social in the top right. If there's no social, that's already not a good sign. But they still might be on Twitter. They may have some marketing. They just didn't pay the fee to be on Dex Screener, which is annoying. So you can still click on the search on Twitter and it'll search with the ticker. The problem with some of these ones is they're actually a million Robert /Soul, and people have tried to launch this same token ticker multiple times. So sometimes you might be finding old ones as well. So you just have to be a little bit careful with that. So there's a little bit of a mention of this, and then we skip back to 2021 here. So that's obviously some old coin. That's so funnily enough exactly what I said has happened. But that's because I've looked at, hundreds of thousands of these charts basically and had the experience. So this really doesn't seem to have any Twitter. If it did, it would have probably popped up already, because I've clicked on people here. Can't find anything that looks like a coin. I can even type in Robert Soul just to see if it pops up. Doesn't really seem to be anything here. This doesn't seem to be any kind of project. So that's not good. You've not got the website, you've not got any socials there. So that's already a bad sign. The liquidity is not locked. So that, these are the basic things I check at the beginning. And then we want to start checking other things like number of holders and stuff like that. And remember, you can go into DEX tools as well. So I use both. And then we use another website. One of them is called rugchecker.xyz. And that's where we'll check the contract address to see if there's any other worrying signs. And you do this all kind of quickly. This only takes a few minutes. So in the upcoming videos, we'll go through all of these different things. It's a lot to take in, I know, but once you understand it, you practice it a few times, it becomes second nature. You'll be able to do all of this within a few minutes, make a flip and carry on. Put in 3, 4, 5 soul, double it, triple it, move on. That's what you're here to do. Thanks for listening. In this video, I want to discuss long-term potential for some of these meme coins. Now, this is the fabled kind of third wave with some of these coins. Very, very rare. Let's discuss dog with hat. And this one is at 370 million in market cap at the moment. So let's go into our market cap graph and let's discuss this in more detail, and let's zoom out. So we're going to zoom out to a daily chart now just to see everything that's happened with this coin. The chart's not really that nice because of this crazy buy where somebody spent millions on this coin. But anyway, in fact, let's zoom out a little bit on a 4-hourly. Now, from the inception, 21st of November, this basically did nothing for a long time. So it did nothing and then suddenly became popular. And then it went through this kind of first wave move. So it literally got to 1 million quite quickly, which is not a big deal nowadays on Solana meme coins. Not a big deal at all. But then it really pushed on from there. And basically the big deal with this is it did a first and second wave there. But you can't even see it because it's so small. But when it got to a few million and then pulled back. And then basically that was the first move. This was the second move where it did basically a 3 and a 4. And this is the final move in my opinion. And we'll see how far it can actually go. But this third wave up. So 1, small 1, 2, a large 1. And then this third one is very, very rare. So let's talk percentages to give you an idea. Basically at the beginning. So let's just scroll to the, and let's talk numbers. At the beginning stages here, this first move up and down, a lot of coins don't do this. So basically 95% of coins never ever do this first move. So you're already in the 5% that actually only do this. And then in the second, out of the second, maybe only 10% might do the second out of that. And then you've got the third wave where it's an even smaller percentage. It might be only 5 or 10% of that. So literally, to get this third move up, the one we saw here, go all the way up, we're basically talking about a percentage that might be 0.01 or even 0.001%. It's very, very rare. It does happen, but it's very rare. And why does this happen? It's because one meme just gets so popular and it's so good that it just gets re-memed. So basically the picture of the dog with the hat, everybody's using just the picture of the hat everywhere. This basically hat, and they're putting the hat on top of all sorts of different things, or they're putting the dog with a different picture of a hat, and there's so many spin-offs, but this is the original meme. That's why it's the best. Literally just a dog with a hat. That's why it's so funny. And this is taken up because of that. But along the way, the team's been doing work. What they've been doing that's been pushing the price every single time is they've been creating new utility, which basically at the initial parts of these meme coins are basically listing on new exchanges and new websites. That's what really helps it to take off. And that's just basically how they move. But the other thing worth noting is in this third wave, because it's very difficult to catch these things perfectly, but in this third wave, let's say you did jump in, the price now would be up in terms of where the price is now exactly about 160, 170%, which, yeah, it's good. It's like a 1.5x. But honestly, it's nothing like the gains that you'd make early on in some of these coins. And yes, some people might have the conviction to buy here and then hold for many weeks and months, but most people don't. And is it even worth it? Even if you did do that and you held through and then you made another 100% here in this time, which is basically 2 weeks here, could you have made more than a 1x trading in and out of other coins repeatedly again and again and again? So you have to think about it like that as well. So mainly these third wave moves, I don't like to get involved in. Because the ROI is not going to really be worth it. And already you're trading something, a meme coin, that's already at 100, 200 million market cap. I mean, how much more can it really go once they've listed everywhere that exists? Like once they're on Binance and everything like that, it's usually a top sign. Now, I don't think this is listed on the absolute biggest ones yet, but if it did, that would be the sign. So just like things like Dogecoin and Bonk and things like that, when they eventually list on Binance, that seems to be a sign off the top. Now with crypto markets in general, not even meme coins, this could be Bitcoin or anything else. Usually these big news events, which are supposed to be very bullish sounding, tend to be liquidation events where they reach the top and they fall back. So just be very careful with that as well overall. So generally you'll be trading. My advice is you should be trading here at the beginning. And if not, after the beginning, you catch one of these second waves. And the second waves, massive amount of ROI as well. So let's just scroll out just to show you. So we just said there's about 170% there. But here, after this first wave, which seems so small now, just here, if we had gotten in on 13th of December, let's say, and rid it up, anywhere around here till 22nd, we're not going to perfectly time entries and exits, of course. But generally, look, I don't even need to push very far, but look at these numbers, 4,500%. Crazy amounts. So this is what we're talking about. This is how you hear stories where people turn $100 or $1,000 into literally $300 or $400,000. So literally enough to buy a house cash pretty much anywhere in the world, and a decent one at that. That's where you make these gains. That's a second wave move. And notice again, as you look through, you'll see that a lot of the resistance points, they tend to be 200 million here, 100 million here, are kind of round numbers. So you know your targets as well. You can take profits nearer to these round numbers, but never exactly the round number. You don't want to take profit at exactly 200 million. You want to take it at 198, because the price might spike 200 to 200 before you can get your sell order in, and then it will tank all the way back down to 100. As happened here. Look, we went from 200 in the space of just hours, like nearly only a day, all the way back down to 100. So you would have got half the profit. So let's say you had invested here your $100 and it turned into 40,000. Well, it would be 20,000 within a day because you didn't sell fast enough. And never be scared of taking profits. You're always going to have some that continued running even though you should have taken profits. But the majority of the time, 90% or more of the time, you are right to take the profits. So always take profits, especially with meme coins, because the chance of them suddenly turning on you is way higher compared to other marketplaces. Thanks for listening. So this is a really important video where I discuss exactly how meme coins move. Now, if you understand this, and you may have to watch this a couple of times, but if you really understand this and can get to grips with this, then you'll do really well when it comes to trading meme coins. Not every trade will go your way, of course. But not only will you make money, but also you'll avoid losing money, which is the big problem for a lot of crypto investors and traders, especially with things like meme coins and NFTs, where they just don't understand how the markets move. And if you don't understand, then you get surprised. Price goes down 50, 70% and you don't know why. Whereas a more experienced trader would completely expect that to happen and be ready for that to happen. So I'm going to discuss that with you here. This is WIF. This is one of the most popular meme coins on Solana. And I'm going to go right to the beginning of the chart to show you exactly what happened, step by step. Now, this is a less common example, but we can discuss all of the common scenarios on the chart. And I'm here on a basic trading view chart on Dex Screener. You can actually open up the same chart if you wanted to on TradingView directly, where there's more information. Some of the bigger meme coins, you can actually see them there. So if you prefer to do that, you can absolutely do that as well. So I'm just going to adjust the chart a little bit so we can see it a little bit better as well. I think that's about the most I can do. And then I can hide this sidebar as well. Just click 3 dots there and click that. So I can hide the sidebar as well. So we're here. And what we want to do is, I think we're on an hourly here. And if we really zoom out, like I said, this is an atypical coin because it's been around for a while and then it had a pump. If you really zoom out, you can see that things kicked off here all the way back in 20th of November. This is when it launched. And at launch, it had a very typical launch for a decent coin, a better coin. Basically, for any meme coin launch, when it's a decent meme coin, you always get a ride up, and within literally a day or so, sometimes within 12 to 24 hours, you get a pullback down. And this happens with literally all meme coins, even if they're going to moon afterwards. Because initially, at the initial stages, the first few hours, you get a lot of traders involved who we might call flippers. And we might call another group called snipers. Snipers want to get in as soon as possible, make 1x, literally 1x, double their money. So if it's $100, they want to turn it into 200 and they want to leave. That's it. And move on to another collection. They don't want to risk holding bags and have them go all the way down to near zero. That's how snipers work. And they're trying to get in as soon as the collection goes live, a few minutes later, as long as they've done some other due diligence and checks, as much as they could do. And that's all they want to do. They're sniping. Flippers would get in within the first few hours and then look to hold a trade for anywhere from 1 hour to, say, 24 hours. This is where we might be a lot of the time when we're placing trades, where we want predictable gains when it comes to meme coins. And then after the 1 to 24 hours, so those are the flippers, you can call the rest of them, if we generalize it, long-term holders. People who are prepared to hold for days. I don't recommend this when it comes to meme coins, especially trading new ones if you're looking to trade and make quick money and quick profits with meme coins. Because very few meme coins long-term trend upwards. That's why. And I can show you 100 charts that will actually prove that. So keep that in mind. So let's just remove these drawings. Next, these pumps initially with meme coins, they don't look like much on the chart. When I zoom out now, you'll see that you can barely see this move up. But in terms of percentage, if you click this button here with the 3 lines and you go to price range, and then you click, drag up, and then hold, you'll see that was actually a 500% move. What that means is, roughly, like say 500%. It means basically 100, you could have turned into £500 or £600. £100 of dollars. Basically, if you got in here in the first kind of hour or two. So something to note there. So this is where we get involved. If we're a sniper immediately, but flipper first 1 to 24 hours. In the better coins, a lot of the pump happens at the beginning. And we'll discuss other things like socials, etc. as well in another video. But this is purely technical analysis. Let's say you had no other information about the coin, just the chart. You should know how to read a chart vaguely. You don't have to be an expert. You can clearly see prices going up and candles are going up. And then you can actually see in terms of percentage gains how far it will go up. And you know that I've said after a day or so, nearly all coins, sometimes earlier, will start to trend down. The next thing, we're going to talk about what moves the markets, what actually moves them up. Now, in the initial phase, by the way, you can get a few pumps. The maximum I've seen tends to be about 5 pumps, something like this. So first pump, pullback, number 2, number 3, the third wave up, number 4, pullback, and number 5. So, well, call it 3 actual pumps in price, and then you can get a major pullback. So something to keep in mind, we'll come back to that when we look at live new pairs in just a minute. Let's scroll right on this chart. As we're scrolling right, you can see price stayed stable. Now here, I wouldn't be involved in this, and you shouldn't be. You should be already out of it. But let's say you notice something. Price starts to pick back up again. The way price picks up in any meme coin or any smaller cap like altcoin, for example, or even larger cap, especially the smaller ones, is volume. At the bottom there, I've got volume running. Volume is basically how many people are buying and selling at any one period of time. Let's say in an hour, these are hourly candles. So every hour, depending on how much is traded, you can see in the top right there, it says the volume. So in this particular candle, there was 16,000 traded, for example. How do we get the volume on? Click on indicators here and type in volume. and click on volume. And then it will show volume at the bottom. Now, we're still going sideways. And then what happens here? We have liftoff. Crazy. And what do you see at the bottom there? Very clearly, no volume. Almost a dead coin. So every hour, there's like $100 traded, maybe 1,000, then 500 for the entire hour. So no trading at all. And then suddenly on 8th of December, this meme takes off. Very likely something going on social, sharing, interest, a big mention, who knows. But everybody apes into this coin. And then the volume suddenly jumps to $100,000 in an hour. But it's the volume that's moved the market. Nothing special technically that says it's supposed to break out now. So you sometimes would have seen online, on YouTube or other places, people saying, drawing all kinds of weird triangles on the charts, saying, well, this meme coin is destined to break out now because it's perfectly wedged and stuff. This is all wrong. This is rubbish. It's the volume that moves the markets. It doesn't matter what the chart is doing. As long as volume comes in and interest comes in, attention comes in, the price will go up. End of story. End of story. Does not matter what the patterns are. And actually the patterns on meme coins are not clear at all, because it's such a low volume traded thing that, so low volume that even here, for example, when we were moving $500, let's say you have a budget of investing, your entire crypto account is 5,000. You could have moved this market up 200% when it was dwindling over here. Maybe not that much, but a significant amount, because there was literally only $500 being traded. You do a $5,000 trade and you see what happens, which we were seeing here. Anyway, let's move on. So we scroll, we get lots and lots of volume. And this is a really good pump. And you didn't need to get in the first hour or the second hour or even third hour. You could have been late to this and still caught some of this. And let's have a look at price training. Let's say we were 3 hours into it or something like that. No, we didn't even sell at the peak. We sold over here somewhere. Notice the move's 300%. That looks amazing on the chart, because when we scroll out now, that move looks massive and this move looks negligible. But I already showed you that actually this negligible looking move was actually the bigger move, because it was 500%. This was 300. A lot of crypto charts are like that. When you get in a lot later down the road, the gains are actually, believe it, a lot less, which is why I like to go for new coins, because most of the gains are at the beginning, most of the attention's at the beginning, and it's before the meme coins had a chance to die off. Yes, it may still keep going, but I don't want to hold my coin for a month there, hoping that suddenly it becomes popular later on. You need to keep moving your money and rotating and moving that liquidity and flipping that money to try and grow your trading account or investing account. That's what you need to do. So let's keep moving. So now we're up to this particular point and price is pumping, but notice it pumps again. Now this particular coin goes absolutely crazy. And this is a very, very rare example. But I'm showing you this just so you can see how volume works. That's my main purpose of showing you this coin. But this is a 1 in maybe 1,000 coin. So don't think they will all do this. But it does actually start to trend. And then once it starts a second pump, I call this a second wave. This is a second wave. So after all that initial business in the first few days, then it does nothing for a period of time. If a coin gets a second wave, it could be very significant. It could mean that it's becoming literally meme culture in the crypto world. And that's significant. And notice every time it pumps again, what do we have at the bottom? Volume. Every time, volume. That's what moves the market. So if you see the volume breakout, what does volume breakout mean? All it means is you see the bars getting smaller and smaller and smaller, everybody losing interest, and then the bars start getting bigger than this line that I've drawn going down. That's a volume breakout. As soon as you see it break out, very likely the price will follow. Not guaranteed, but a lot of the time, quite likely. Let's keep going. And then you see the price shooting up more and more. Again, what happened here? Dead volume. Well, dead relatively speaking. Still quite high. 20,000 every hour. That's quite high. But then it breaks out to 700,000 in an hour. Goes crazy. Everybody talking about whiff on Dog with Hat on Twitter. And then is a very strong trend. And that was the second. This is the third wave. Very rare for a coin to have a third wave. It means it's very, very popular. Think of the bonks of this world and things like that. Very, very popular coin. And then it goes very, very hard for very long. And then it reaches a peak here, as you can see. And since that peak, it's drifted off. And it's still holding a very strong market cap, but generally drifted off. And this little spike here was because crazy volume came in. Somebody paid a massive amount to buy into this coin, a ridiculous amount. Literally 19 million was traded in that hour. It was a ridiculous purchase for this coin. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to start guaranteed trend up or anything. It's just to show you that there is the volume that caused that spike. So you get these kind of three waves. Now, this is a coin that went crazy. And sometimes if you have more belief in a coin, it is worth, especially if you're in your profit, it's worth letting 20% of your position run. And in this particular coin, if you did that, you would have added another 1,000% odd. So you would have made a lot of money on this coin. But remember, this is a rare example. Don't assume this is all coins. I'm showing you this because it can show you the volume very, very nicely. With the newer, smaller cap coins, it's harder for me to show you some of this analysis because most coins die out after a day or two. That's why it's harder for me to show. But if you look on the top traders here, you will see crazy figures. You will see people flipping to make life-changing sums of money. Absolutely. But that's only because this particular coin, it ran so much more than anybody probably thought. And next thing, so we talked about the volume, but there's another indicator I use. This is an indicator to help me with tops. So help me identify where we might get a significant pullback. And it's a simple indicator. It's called the RSI, Relative Strength Index. And it kind of tells us if something's overbought or oversold in a particular coin. So even here, now remember the initial part where I showed you the 500%, you can see now when you zoom out, it's barely noticeable. But that's where, like I said, a lot of the multiples are to be had. And to be honest, in this particular coin, if you did hold long term, it's here early where you'd have made life-changing money. Not actually in the third wave where it looks like a lot, but you may have only doubled your money or something like that. It definitely wouldn't be a 5x or a 10x. Now here initially, look at the first initial moves here and look at the RSI. It goes over the top line, which means it's overbought. There's too much interest in it and it's spiked. Sorry, we were even further back here. So you can actually see it here, line up quite nicely. See that peak line up with this? So if you see the RSI going to overbought, sometimes it can reach that even before the peak. Or sometimes at the same time, you know that it's actually the market's a little bit too hot. And you can see here a smaller peak here, not very overbought, but the price was kind of moving sideways. It doesn't really help that much if price is moving sideways. Generally, you want the price to be trending upwards first. But it caught another peak there, another smaller peak there, and then it was massively overbought here. So you knew that we would do potentially a big correction, and that's exactly what happened. And then it was overbought here again because it's over the top line, and so on and so forth. This is brilliant. This is one of the best ways to pick tops in meme coins. You can see there as well, overbought. And here, it was overbought, but if you held, you probably, you would have made a lot more money because it kept going up, which is why I'm saying, yes, it could have pulled down, but you can always let some of your profits run and have a kind of mental stop loss in mind as well. Again, you don't want to overcomplicate this. This is meme coins we're talking about, but this is another thing I found to be quite helpful. So those are two of probably the best indicators I use. To be honest with you, there aren't a lot you can use, like I said, with the meme coin market. Let's have a look at a couple of other charts, a couple of other coins, and let's just see how they've moved. So we'll start with a popular one first. You may have heard of on Avalanche, is Cock Inu. So let's type that one in here. Same thing here now. So I'll get on an hourly chart, remove all my drawings, scroll to the beginning. Now this is, again, a very rare coin because it's a coin that did way more than anybody thought it would do, and it became one of the best coins on that particular chain. But same thing, after launch, we have this pump. Sometimes it could be almost like 5 waves altogether, so 3 pumps basically, and then we get a big pullback, usually after a day or two. You can see that's classic here. And then this second wave, it's a rarity. And a third wave's even rarer. Most coins are literally like that, the better coins, and then they die off, and then they never ever get back to all-time highs there. They just stay below here. They never go up again. So that's most coins. And notice here, we've got the coins here. Let me just show you the volume again. You can see volume breaking out here at the bottom. You can see that very clearly, and that's what pushed price up. If volume doesn't break out and it dies off, this coin would have died with it. Simple as that. So we get that second wave there, and it's very, very strong. And to be honest, you can describe this part as a second wave, or that as a second wave, and then this as a third wave. Depends which way you want to look at it. But basically, we got to that top there, and then we've never been able to get back, even though this is like one of the best coins on the chain. It struggled to get back. Now, what do you think is going to get it back? Volume. Look at the volume come back in there, push this price up, and then we never got any follow through in volume, and now we don't have any. So basically now on an hourly basis, it's still trading a lot of volume generally compared to other random new meme coins, but it's more like 50,000, 100,000. But to move this particular market with this market cap that Cock Inu has, you need to be doing this kind of volume, like 2 million, 3 million in an hour. That's what will push. That's the problem with meme coins. This is the other problem. The momentum, momentum needed once they've already pumped a lot to keep them pumping up is unbelievable amount. You need that Twitter to go from like 5,000 to like 50,000 or 100,000. You need a lot of momentum. Basically, everybody in crypto land to be talking about them. That's how Bonk got so high. It just got to a point where everybody was talking about Bonk. And then it got to those very high levels. Otherwise, it never will. So these are not coins that you want to get involved in much further down after the fact. Unless you think, like here, it was about to start a third wave. Now, looked like it was about to start one, but then it never had any follow through. So these are the ones I would kind of stay away from. Now, let's look back, because another thing we mentioned was RSI. So let's quickly go into the indicators, type in RSI, and let's see how that did here. So going back to the initial parts here. So the initial kind of 5-wave move, we can see one peak there, RSI overbought, peak there, RSI, peak there as well. So yeah, generally it worked quite well on an hourly chart. And same here. At these peaks, these highs, I was actually involved in this, and I managed to sell, definitely not at the highs, but not far off, because I was keeping an eye on RSI. And then I knew that it was a bit overbought. But then afterwards, I didn't know it could push up again. I never knew. You keep an eye on markets and stuff. And actually this pump I was involved in as well, made a little bit of money, not much, because it kind of pulled back quickly, and then the price never did anything again. So I've just stayed out of it, and I have no interest in it now, unless volume comes in and something is going on. But like I said, it will need a lot for that to happen. So in the next video, we're going to talk about new coins, the more common coins. So I've just shown you 2 of the 1% coins. The 99% of the coins that happen, that launch every day, that's what I'm going to show you next. The ones that you are more likely to trade, and I'm more likely to trade as we go forward. These ones I've just shown you because long term, you'll see what happens. But when I show you these 99% ones, you're never going to see them long term doing anything. They're all going to be slowly dying and going towards zero. And that's a very important lesson for you to know, because when it comes to flipping meme coins, you have to move quickly. Get in there quick and get out fast once you've made profit, or you cut your losses quickly and you move on. Very, very important. Thanks for listening. Hello there. So in this video, we're going to talk about token holders. Very important with meme coins. For example, Solana meme coins. This I'm more interested in slightly later in the collection. So like, for example, this one we were talking about, laptop, where you're looking at a collection when it's an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours into the launch, or days or weeks into a launch. Now this one, the problem with this one, I was having a look at this, but I'm in two minds and I'm probably not going to. The only reason is there'll be a massive volume of selling had come in. Now this might just be people taking profits or even losses, of course. This is how it goes sometimes. And once that clears up, we don't know, or there could be FUD in the group and stuff like that. I had a look at the group and it's kind of mixed, nothing interesting to be honest with you. So I don't think it's worth it from ROI, because you have to always think, like, if I buy here, yes, it could shoot up a little bit. It could even moon. We don't know. That's a possibility. But we know hours after a launch is at 2 double tops here. It might be out of steam now. And if it's not going to do any new marketing or anything interesting, there's not much liquidity anyway. Is it just going to kind of die off and falter? It's hard to say. The other thing I like to do, apart from looking at transactions, is sometimes in the short term, I drop onto a 1 second chart, because I can see the spikes below. If they're green spikes, more likely to have been buys, and if the red spikes, sells. So you can see it's kind of mixed really for this collection. So we don't know where it's going to go, but let's talk about token holders. A couple of things we can look at. First of all, you see this tab here, top traders. We can see who's made profits on this. And you can see there's been some crazy flips, $600 into 2,500, etc. A lot of these may have sold too late, and if they had sold nearer to the top, so it could have been a lot higher. But yeah, some good profits overall. But I want to know what percentage of tokens are certain people holding, because the problem with collections like these is, if especially so early, if you think of all of the holders as a pie chart, you don't want a few people holding big bags of like 10%, 5-10%. Or even more, because if they decide I'm done here, I'm going to take profits or losses or whatever, and I sell my 5% position, doesn't sound like much. 5% of the entire collection, this will tank very, very quickly. You actually want, it's the same as actually NFTs. You want more holders, as many holders as possible, spread out, more retail traders, or with kind of smallish positions. That's what you prefer. Yes, you want whales buying because they're prepared to pay more, obviously, for these types of things. But generally, in terms of a collection not kind of dumping quickly, you want more holders. So the way we do that is we check on the Solana contract, and we can go and Sol scan there. So all we do is we scroll down to the right, and where you see laptop here, you want to click this button here to open in a new tab, and that opens solscan.io. Solscan's really good. You can get some quick information about the contract. You don't need to be an expert developer or anything to read it. It's pretty basic. It's got the name there. If you ever need the token address, you can copy it here if you want to. You can get it obviously from Dex Screener directly as well. As a reminder, it's here right next to the name. You click there and it's copied right there. And you scroll down, you can see a few transfers, stuff like that. But I'm interested in holders. So if I click on holders here, I can see who's holding and how much. Now you have to remember here as well, because of the liquidity pool, there'll be a certain amount. For example, this Radium one would have been more than likely liquidity. So it would be tokens sent to the liquidity pool with Solana. So that one you don't have to worry about. It's all these other holders that you have to worry about. This top one, again, it could be a liquidity pool. It's hard to know for 100% sure unless we research it more. And then here, you've got some holdings. Nothing crazy, to be honest with you. 2%, 1%, nothing too crazy there. So nothing overly concerning, as long as you can just confirm the top one and confirm that it's a pool somewhere, liquidity pool for this particular contract. And that's it. So for any of these collections, you can do this similar type of process where you just have a look and you see very quickly what the holders are doing. So that's it for this one. Like I said, this is more for, so if we scroll out, it's more for longer term collections. So ones that you're looking to trade after the period of a few hours, you might start looking at token holders just to give you a general idea, especially if it's one you want to hold for a day or longer and you're quite bullish otherwise on the collection. I don't spend a lot of time on that because, like I said, early on, you're not really bothered too much about the holders because prices moving so fast. Even teams who hold some of their own tokens, for example, for marketing, they might hold 10%. They're not going to do anything in the first few months. They've invested time and money in this project. They're not interested in selling immediately because the price hasn't moved for them to make anything. So in this first wave, you're safe. And like I said, this is one of my favorite areas, wave one. So that will bring our tutorials when it comes to wave one towards an end. And we'll come back to this again. But this is the area we're interested in. So just remember, new collections, what are the basic checks we're doing very quickly? What are we looking for on a chart as well? And not only buy entries, but look to sell too. Look at those psychological levels. Look at maybe if you're in profit, selling some of the position and then keeping more. The good thing about BonkBot is it helps you to do that very easily. And we'll discuss that in a different training tutorial. But I exclusively for Sol, to be honest, I don't use the regular wallets. I just use BonkBot now. It's so easy. Just quick button whilst you're looking at the chart, buy and sell. Almost like a computer game. Thanks for listening. So in this video, we're going to talk about more wave one strategies. Now notice, interestingly, the same collection, which I was just talking about, notice how it's crashing through now. And it's down at 25,000 market cap, just as I predicted. And like I said, I'm not a fortune teller. It's just I've seen so many of these charts and I can quickly think about the chart, think about their socials, think about the hype, think about the potential and work it out. And notice in the last 5 minutes, what's happened to the volume? It started to drop. So that's the other thing, the volume slowly dropping as well, which is not a good sign. And they need to do something. They need to do some new marketing or do something else that will create a bit of hype and pump. Otherwise, I don't see a lot of potential. Now here, when the collection gets a little bit dead, like I said, it may still go up to 200, 300,000. Like, I don't know for sure. But anyway, even from here, you can actually take a small beat up trade and see if you can just spike it up to 40. It's just, it gets a little bit risky here because a lot of people are looking at the chart and they're like holding bags from all the way at the top here and they can quickly sell on you. You just have to be a little bit careful about that. You can definitely get in buys. I mean, even these buys are looking a bit suspicious. People are buying exactly 413. You know, that could be a team as well. You don't know for 100% sure. But even if this goes up, I'm happy I got out. But because basically the probability is not in the favor of this particular chart. And like I said, there's nothing going on with this collection on Twitter or anything else. It's not really got any Twitter following or hype on here. Suddenly it's got a bit more engagement on this particular post. Hopefully because they said on the group, hey guys, come and engage with this post. You know, the people in the community are obviously doing that. Everybody wants to pump their bags. I mean, it's good for the projects to get the community to work. The community has to work together to try and pump some of these projects, of course. And like I said, not a bad idea. Arab dog, different from the usual dog meme coins we have. Fair enough. Don't know what's going to happen with this. But anyway, let's move on. So let's click on new pairs again and let's go through the process again. So going to click on age. Just zoom in a little bit here. And I'm interested in most recent because we're talking about wave one strategies here. And immediately see Milo. There's a lot of like collections that are like mimicking real world meme coins or really popular meme coins in terms of their names and stuff like that. Sometimes they do okay, but generally not that well. Anyway, I'm glancing at this. I'm looking at the liquidity because that gives me an idea of market cap. That's almost a market cap really. And it's very low. I mean, I know it's just launched, but already it's not looking good. Doesn't have much hype. Let's open in a new tab anyway, see what's going on. See if it's got any socials. Doesn't have any socials. So already I'm not that keen on it. But maybe they just didn't pay Dex Screener. Price is a bit all over the place. Let's click on market cap to get a better idea. And we can see the price hasn't really pumped much at all. It's got to 8,000. Maybe it's a bit of a slow burner. Let's click on search on Twitter. It could be a very hyped collection that just didn't bother with Dex Screener so people don't know about it yet. That's a good thing. You can get in early then. But does anybody care about this? Is anybody talking about it? Can we find its collection details? So there's something here called Gems Calls. So it means they've probably done a little bit of shilling. And then I can click on that link and then I found it. Milo on Sol. So it's almost certainly this one. So it's basically... they've got no posts yet. Maybe they're thinking about doing a post soon. Who knows? Bit of basic information. Obviously, you've got the Telegram there as well, so we can check all of the socials. But let's get back on the chart, see if there's anything interesting going on. Not much, again. So let's have a look and see if we have a website as well. Maybe that will give us a better idea. But I'm not seeing a website either, so that's not great. So we don't really have the social links. Even if it's a really good project, well-funded, did loads of marketing, if they don't do basic things like these social links and stuff like that, that's not a good sign. It means they're just throwing a project out there to see what sticks. These ones don't do well. They don't last very long. Notice though, chart doesn't look horrific. Like I said, this pump is not great. But the problem with this chart is, like I showed you in previous videos, the volume right now is 2.8, which is not great anyway. This is only going to go down. Unless they find some hype somewhere, this is only going to go down, the volume. And then it's going to be stuck at the starting liquidity, which looks like about $500, which is what they put in the liquidity pool. And notice here, it doesn't say liquidity locked either. So we don't know if they've burned that liquidity, so they can't sell the tokens back. So loads and loads of signs. So even if this pushes up a bit, I wouldn't be interested. But again, other things you can do. Anybody big buying it, let's say 200 minimum. Anybody forking out $200 on this project so far? Well, there's been selling, big selling. And these could be bots, who knows? Just looking to take some quick profits, but not really. Basically, in the last 8 minutes, there's been one transaction of $200 and it was a sell. So basically not going anywhere more than likely. But again, that's all part of the research. We need to go into Telegram and stuff like that as well, have a good look over it just to see if there's anything we're missing. The good thing is sometimes, not this particular one, definitely not this one, but some other collections that are very hyped. So if they're very hyped on Twitter, they've got their Telegram going. They've just not bothered to pay the $299 for Dex Screener, or they're planning to do it later. Fair enough. So you come in here and they have no socials. And most people are like, well, I'm not going to touch that with a barge pole. It has no socials. But because you'd be ahead of time or even at the time, you've done your proper research. It's got a pumping Twitter, pumping Telegram. Well, then you should be excited because as soon as people know that this is a legit project or a project that's got some legs and they start adding socials on Dex Screener later, this is going to start flying a little bit. So you can actually get in early. You still need to do all of your checks, draw up the chart exactly how I've shown, look for setups, but you could be getting in very early there. And technically speaking, even though this is no volume, it's getting a little bit more volume now, so it's not that bad. Notice that it's that same initial resistance, that's where it's hitting. Now, if it keeps playing around this 7,000 market cap, more than likely it will break through. It will break through. And you can see now, look at that. The liquidity is green, which means they've locked liquidity. They've probably just burned the tokens. People are more bullish on it now, just because of that. But even then, there's just not that much going on. These are ones where, even now I'm thinking, shall I have a quick soul punt on it, see if we can get it to 15,000, because the volume's up a little bit. The volume bars are at the bottom, but they're just not up enough. And remember, I've got it sorted so that I've filtered the biggest transactions, and there's no big transactions here. There's just not enough in liquidity. And in fact, there was a massive sell again only a few seconds ago. So there's 2 big sells, no big buys still. So yeah, this one I'd probably walk away. But I'm more of a riskier type trader, sometimes I might still take a punt on this, but really there's nothing here. So even for me on the riskier end, there's nothing. For most of you who are kind of in the middle of the spectrum, you shouldn't go anywhere near this collection. There's nothing in here for you. There's nothing that will hold or support price. If a few people suddenly sell, there's no liquidity, nothing. You should have nothing to do with this collection. I hope that's crystal clear. Next video, we're going to look through some more, and we're going to do a bit more in terms of detailed analysis, and I'll show you exactly what we're looking for on Telegram as well when it comes to the collection, and also what we're looking on in terms of the contract. So when we look, for example, at holders. Thanks for